Hello, Lisa. This is Adam. I would like to invite you for a meeting today. Is it fine? All right. See ya. Thank you. Hi, Lisa.
Hello, Adam.
How are you?
I'm good.
Have a seat.
You?
Hi, Lisa. Thanks for sitting down with me today. As you know, I've noticed that during the busy lunch rush, there are some challenges around multitasking that we can work on together. My goal for today is to help you become more efficient during these busy times, especially from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. When we have the $9 lunch buffet, how does that sound?
That sounds great. I know I've been struggling a bit with managing every time. Sorry. That sounds great. I know I've been struggling a bit with managing everything during the lunch rush, especially when it gets really busy. I'm looking forward to learning some new strategies to help me stay on top of things.
Alright, that sounds great. So let's start by talking a little bit about how you currently handle things when it gets busy. Can you walk me through what happens during the lunch rush? How do you typically manage the counter, taking orders, and serving customers?
Sure, during the lunch rush, I can get pretty overwhelming. I start by greeting customers as they come up to the counter and taking their orders. But sometimes multiple people come at once, so I feel rushed. I try to get their orders into the register quickly, but then I often have to leave the counter to bring food and drinks to tables. I also find myself going back and forth between the counter and the kitchen, trying to keep track of orders. I end up juggling a lot of things at once, and sometimes I forget something or get behind on a task.
Oh, I see. Thanks for sharing that. I'm curious, when you're juggling these tasks, working the counter, using the register, serving customers, and bringing food to the table, what do you find the most hardest to manage?
I think the hardest part is trying to keep everything organized and staying on top of all the tasks at once. When the counter gets busy, it's hard to focus on the register and making sure I enter the orders correctly while also trying to serve the customers and deliver their foods. I often feel like I'm behind, especially when I have to leave the counter to bring foods to tables. It's hard to balance everything without feeling rushed.
That's really helpful to know. So let's dive into a few specific areas when you are working to the counter and using the register. How do you keep track of what needs to be done? Are there any moments when things tend to slip through the cracks?
Honestly, I try to keep track of everything in my head, but sometimes it's hard to remember all the details, especially when there are multiple orders at once. I might get distracted with a customer asking a question or a new order coming in, and then I forgot to confirm the payment, or I might miss a drink or side item. I try to stay organized, but when it's really busy, it's tough to keep everything straight without writing things down or having a system.
Oh, I see. And when you are serving customers, how do you ensure you are providing good service while also staying on top of orders and tasks at the counter? Do you ever feel like there's too much to keep track at once?
Yes, it definitely feels like there's too much to keep track of sometimes. When I'm serving customers, I try to be friendly and make sure they're taken care. But it's hard to stay focused on the counter and the register at the same time. I sometimes get caught in chatting with customers or making sure they're comfortable. And then I forgot to check if their orders has been ordered or if someone else needs help. I want to provide good service, but it's hard to balance that with staying on top of everything else.
That's completely understandable. Now, when you're bringing meals and beverages to tables, what happens if you're in the middle of other tasks at the counter? Do you make sure you are still giving them attention to both the customers and at the counter, or the ones you are serving at the tables?
It's tricky because when I'm bringing foods to the tables, I feel like I'm away from the counter for a while and I can keep an eye on the orders or customers there. Sometimes I worry that I'll miss a new order or a customer might be waiting too long. I try to hurry back at the counter as soon as I can, but it's hard to make sure everything is still running smoothly when I'm split between the two areas. I don't want to neglect anyone, but it feels like it's not enough time to do everything properly.
Thanks for your insight. From what I'm hearing, it sounds like balancing multiple tasks during the lunch rush is a challenge. Let's talk a bit about prioritizing tasks when things get busy. How do you decide which task to track first?
To be honest, I usually just go with whatever feels most urgent in the moment. If there's a customer right at the counter waiting to order, I'll focus on them first. But sometimes I end up jumping back and forth between tasks depending on what seems most pressing. Like if an order is ready to be picked up or if a customer needs their drinks, I try to keep everything moving. But I don't always feel confident in what I should focus on first. It can be hard to decide, especially when everything feels like it's happening at once.
That makes sense. And are there moments when you feel like you are focusing too much on one task and leaving enough for time for others? For example, do you sometimes feel like overwhelmed when a customer needs assistance but you're busy entering something into the register or delivering food?
Yes, definitely. Sometimes I get so focused on entering orders into the register or delivering food that I forgot to check on customers at the counter or answer their question. I can get caught in one task and then feel like I'm neglecting others, which makes me feel overwhelmed. For example, if I'm entering an order and someone comes up with a question or needs their bill, I get frustrated because I'm already in the middle of something else. I know I should be more aware of everything happening around me, but it's hard when I'm concentrating on a single task.
I appreciate your honesty. It sounds like time management is a big part of this. I want to make sure we set you for success during these busy hours. What do you think would help you stay more organized and efficient, especially when juggling these tasks?
I think having a clear system would really help. Maybe if I had a checklist or a way to quickly prioritize tasks in my head, I could stay more organized. For example, if I could make sure orders are entered first before I start delivering food, or have a set routine for checking in with customers while I'm in the counter, that might help. Also, maybe finding a way to break things down into smaller steps instead of trying to do everything at once would make it feel less overwhelming. A little more structure and more quick reminders could help me on track.
Those are great ideas. I think something like having a clear, prioritized list of tasks or even using some shortcuts on the register could help you streamline things. Have you ever tried using a checklist or a mental plan for how you'll approach these tasks during a busy time?
I haven't really used a checklist during the rush, but I've tried to keep a mental plan. The problem is, with everything happens so fast, I sometimes forget what I was supposed to do next to get distracted. I think having something physical to refer to like checklist would definitely help me stay on track. It would be a good reminder to make sure I'm tackling things in the right order and not skipping any important steps.
Another thing to consider is improving communication with the team. For example, if someone's waiting for their order, it might help to communicate with them quickly so they don't feel neglected while you finish a task. How do you feel about trying that?
That sounds like a good idea. Sometimes I feel like I'm juggling so many things at once that I forgot to check in with customers while I'm busy with other tasks. If I could quickly acknowledge them and know them and let them know I'll be right with them, I think it would make them feel more comfortable and reduce the pressure on me. I definitely see how that could help keep things running smoother and make it easier to balance everything.
Alright, now let's talk about how we can track your progress. What would success look like to you? What would you indicate to you that you've become more efficient at managing your tasks during busy hours?
Success for me would be being able to handle all the tasks more smoothly without feeling so overwhelmed. I'd like to be able to prioritize better, stay organized, and keep of everything moving without missing step or getting distracted. I think I know I'm making progress if I can handle multiple orders at once, stay on top of the register, and still provide good service to customer without feeling like I'm forgetting something or rushing too much.
That's really a great goal. Over the next week, let's focus on practicing a few of these techniques and then we will check if in after a shift and talk about what worked and what we can improve. How do you feel about setting small goals each day during the lunch rush to help you stay on track?
I think setting small goals each day sounds really helpful. It will give me something specific to focus on and I can track my progress as I go. I like the idea of checking in after a shift too, so I can see how working and what I need to adjust. It will help me stay motivated and make it feel less overwhelming if I break things down into smaller steps.
That's perfect. With I'm confident that with some small adjustments and some practice, we can get you feeling more in control during these busy hours. And remember, I'm here to support you. If you ever feel stuck or need help with anything in specific, we will work through this together. Sounds good?
That sounds great. I really appreciate your support and I'm excited to try out these new strategies. Having a plan and knowing you're here to help definitely makes me feel more confident. I'm looking forward to work on it and seeing how things improve.
Awesome. Let's make a plan for today's shift. We will focus on setting priorities and communicating with the customers efficiently. Does that sound good?
Yes.
Let's check in after a few hours and talk about how it's going. Thanks for being open to this coaching session, Lisa. I'm really excited to see how you grow.
No worries. Thank you.
Thank you. Hey Lisa,
Hello.
are you free? I would
Yes.
like to have a talk with you in my office.
Of course.
Is that alright?
Yeah.
Right, see. Have a seat.
Yes, thank you.
Alright, so how are you?
I'm doing well.
Hi Lisa, I've been observing your progress over these last few days, particularly during our busy lunch period. I'd like to give you some feedback based on what I've seen. First, how do you feel things are going? Are there any areas where you feel like you're struggling or improving?
I've been doing my best, but I do feel like I'm struggling during the busiest time. There's just so much going on, and it's hard to stay on top of everything. I think I could improve with better time management or maybe more practice with some of the tasks. Any tips you have would be great.
Alright, I've noticed that you're really quick when working at the counter. You're able to take orders efficiently and keep the register moving. That's great. Also, your interactions with the customers are friendly and professional, which is exactly what we want. One thing I think we can work on is meal delivery. There were a few instances where meals took a bit longer to reach the tables because you were handling orders at the counter at the same time. In these cases, it might help to keep eye on which meals are ready and prioritize delivering them first when you have a break between orders. Additionally, I've noticed while you are using the register well, sometimes there's a bit delay when entering orders for returning customers. Perhaps we can go over the repeat order function again so pro- you can process this quicker. Let's see how things are going. I want to check in with you. I'd like to check in with you on the feedback I gave. Have you noticed any improvement in the meal delivery process, or do you feel you are able to juggle serving customers and delivering meals a bit better?
Yes, I've definitely noticed some improvements. I feel like I'm managing the meal delivery process much better now. I've been focusing on staying organized, and it's been helping me juggle serving customers and delivering meals more efficiently. I'm still fine tuning some things, but I can definitely see the process.
That's great. And also, do you feel more comfortable using the register with the shortcuts I mentioned? I, have you been able to speed up the process of entering orders or repeating past ones?
Yes, the shortcuts have definitely helped. I feel a lot more comfortable using the register now, and I've been able to speed up entering orders. Repeating past order is much quicker too, and I'm not as low as I was before. It's made a big difference, and I'm getting faster today, each day. Sorry.
That's great. I've seen that you're staying calm under pressure, and that's a great skill. Your ability to manage customer interactions while keeping the line moving is definitely improving. Overall, you are making a good progress. I can see that you are focusing on being more organized when juggling all your tasks. As we discussed, the next few steps is to work on streamlining your meal delivery and improving speed with the register. For next time, let's aim to reduce the time between orders and delivery. Also, let's try a few practice runs on using the register shortcuts to speed up processing. I'll be checking in again later in the week to see how you are doing. How do you feel about today's session, Lisa?
I think today went well. I feel like I made good progress, and it was helpful to go over everything again. I appreciate the check-ins and the feedbacks. It definitely helped me stay on track. I'm feeling more confident about what I'm doing.
That's really great. Let's schedule a follow-up session for Friday where we can revisit how things are going and make adjustments as needed. Keep practicing the steps we've discussed and we will build on those improvements. Does that sound good?
Yes, sounds
Alright.
good.
Thank you so much, Lisa, for your time.
Thank you, Adam.
See ya.
See ya.